Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and that means that I help you guys navigate this thing called life every day. So good connecting with you. To the clients I got to work with today that are checked in here, I am so grateful for you, every single one of you, every single day. But if you clicked on this video today, you are not here to hear me talk just about metaphysical things. So I assure you I will slip it in because it is the nature of this channel. You are here for a review on something altogether different, which is Victoria and Albert's. So if the hashtag brought you here, welcome in. Yes, you are in the right place. There may be a little bit more on the menu, which I think is apropos because that is very much what you will experience when you get into the wild and woolly world of Victoria and Albert's, okay? So, and it's not even a wild and woolly world. It's a world full of decorum and class and yesteryear. If you love Downton Abbey or any of the period pieces, any of the monarchy pieces, this is a thing. And not just because of it being fashioned after actual monarchy, but because what they're giving you is the experience of that level of service. So we've watched shows from one side, from the service perspective, Downton Abbey, from inside the castle, the Queen, all of these other Netflix kind of docu-series or series or mocu-series or whatever, and then you get the culinary experience. One of the things that I have been working on, again, for the people that came here just for a food review, we're coming there. But one of the things I've been working on is enhancing my sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is associated with the color orange. It's associated with pleasure. It's associated with fine wine tasting. It's associated with incredible food, various forms of molecular gastronomy, or whatever gourmand thing you enjoy, yoga, sexual energy, all of the things that feel good. And I've been healing that for myself. And so on my bucket list of things in the last couple years to realign myself with my sacral energy was to hit these bucket list places. For those of you that are new here, I'm also a classically trained chef, and I was a caterer for many years, and I was trained in, fine cuisine, and so it was a part of my life for so many years. It's so strange how life moves on. In any case, I love food, clearly, but I love food from like the inside of understanding it and the flavor profile. So this place was definitely a once in a lifetime experience. What I will tell you is that from start to finish, you get what you pay for. You know how that's said, and sometimes we can justify it. I remember sitting in a business class associated with my culinary degree and having my professor rail us about what the value was of McDonald's and why McDonald's could get away with selling this burger for this much, because we as consumers esteem the value to be worthwhile for what we were getting for that dollar burger, and we thought it was a great value, right? So we had this whole debate about that, and he said the price can go as high and as low as the consumer will allow if the value and the service dictate. Victoria and Albert's is where that rule goes to be great. You start off in the Hunger Games making a reservation, and the reservation is not easy to procure. You could simply call the reservation desk if you were so lucky, but in my life I always get all these magical lessons, and so this was a magical moment and lesson. I really wanted these reservations. I made them 2 months before because I knew it was coming up to the major holiday, which is Valentine's Day, and I knew that there was nowhere I was going to be even getting close to that, and that was not what I was seeking to do, but I was seeking to get it in the month of February to some degree, right? And so I definitely paid a lot of attention to that, and I sat in the reservation queue for a long time trying to secure those reservations. Got kicked out several times. Very much a, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. And indeed I did. I tried several times to get those reservations. When I got them, I felt like I had won the lottery, because as I was trying to procure them, it felt very much like this elusive unicorn that was going to forever evade me, and I was never, ever, ever going to get these, because I had wanted this for years. I mean, not just a long time, but a long, long time. I'd watched all the reviews. I'd done everything you guys that are probably here have done too, if you're here strictly for the review. So that was like this magic moment. Congratulations, it pops up. All of the Disney memorabilia and all of this, you know, signia and all of the stuff, and it's great. Everything feels really lush. But then it gets even better. A couple weeks out from your reservation, you receive a call. You receive several emails letting you know, like, hey, we just want to chat with you. Chat with me? Now, I will also let you know you do need to put down a deposit that is required for this establishment. So there is a non-refundable deposit put down. So that's what you need to know. That is a little disclaimer. This is why they call it a once in a lifetime experience, because it is pricey, but beyond it being pricey, it is it's pretty exclusive. The dining room only holds so many people, all of the things we humans love, right? So, you start receiving these emails. They want to chat with you. Okay, so then they reach out, they call you, and they just ask you about how your day's going and other lovely things. I mean, the concierge was so fantastic, but she's also sussing out for allergies. He or she is sussing out for allergies. Pardon me. So she wants to know if you or the other parties that will be attending have any allergies to speak of. And I do, so I am gluten-free. And so I will also be tagging that in this video as well. For those of you that are wondering what the gluten-free experience was like, amazing. I also did another part of the experience that is a new offering called the zero proofing, which was fan-freaking-tastic. I regret it not one bit. My companion had the wine pairing, so it was great because we got to kind of sample each other's and see like, oh, is this good? But I loved the zero proof pairing. I'm not like a huge drinker, so I thought it was like super worth it, and everything was so curated and amazing. Even the viscosity, there was a sherry that they mimicked and it was zero proof, and the viscosity of the sherry, this dessert wine that they made out of like plum, was just, I mean, it was not your grandma's prune juice. Like, it was so insanely incredible that I was like, how does this mimic and echo sherry, but it's not alcoholic? It was brilliant. You must have this experience. Anyway, so she's checking out to see what your allergies are, and she's asking you about your preference in seating, and she's asking you, of course, about the normal things like special occasions, what are we celebrating, etc., etc., what brings you this way. We spent about 20 minutes on the phone that day. Now, I am naturally loquacious, if you can't tell. I am a chatty Cathy, but she outdid me, and she did it so well. I felt like we were besties by the time it was over. It was such an incredible experience with her, just figuring out things. And she told me, she said, you know, when you arrive, we will have your menu printed out. And I was like, oh, that's so nice, because sometimes people take special care with gluten-free. And she said, no, that's a menu for both of you two. But also, it's complimentary. It's like a bit of a souvenir as well. You'll have one on the menu on the table when you arrive so that you can see. Menu is prefixed, meaning it's a standard menu that they're creating, and it changes with the seasons as well. So heads up for that. You may not get what I have per se, but this is what we will go over today. I also will be accompanying this with a couple of videos. Some magical moments happen, and I'll talk about them as we go on. So I have a couple of shorts, and one of the waiters presenting us, one of their like premier waiters, he was just fantastic. Even his voice sounds like he was made for this. It's like, did they find this guy in central casting to be this guy? But he was like our head waiter, maitre d', and he was so fantastic. But anyway, he's presenting dessert, so you'll get to hear him talk through that a bit, and then hear us kind of have some small chat as a beautiful magical thing is happening. Cue Willy Wonka. Oh yes, that happened too. All right, so let's get into it. So this is the menu that we chatted on the phone for, and it comes in this high, I mean, it's a little worse for wear, but forgive me guys, high sateen finish. If you can't tell, this glossy finish, okay? And my name is on it. And the guest name was on hers as well. She had her very own. And again, we had two different menus. She had a gluten-filled, I was a gluten-filled, but you know, she had wheat in hers, and I had gluten-free. And then again, she had the wine pairing, and then I had the zero proof pairing option with mine. We also did the upgrade to the there was an upgrade course that was ridiculous of, I believe, I want to say it was some kind of Kobe magic thing. I mean, I'm going to put some pictures up on my community page and all of that stuff as well too, so you guys can see. I also will tell you this before I get into this. My companion is a solo traveler. That is her you know, thing, and she has a channel, and she edited beautifully all of the humans out. So because this dinner is a 4-hour service, heads up for those of you that do not know, she edited beautifully all of the humans out, so you can just really take a focus on the food, or see the food, or see some of the presentations, or hear just that part, like when the waiter is setting it down or whatnot, on her channel, Momo's Happy Place. So if you want to go check that out, if you want to see it in longer format, I think it's like a 15-minute video. I haven't double checked, but I will double check before I load this to make sure that it is up, and I'll put a note if it's not. In any case, that is there, so you can kind of see the food in a bigger format, but of course I'll have a couple pictures up for you as well. All right, so it says welcome, and it has the menu. So we started with a dried fruit spritzer, pink pineapple, Thai basil, spiced mango. Oh my gosh, guys, can I just tell you, first of all, I've rushed this, and this does not do it justice. When you come in, you're greeted by a series of people outside, people inside of the inside that are inside of the inside of the inside. By the time we were finished with our service, we had been handled by no less than 10 people, I would say. That would be fair. It could be up to 15 of more of the ancillary people, but 10 people that interacted with us, that changed out candles, that cut flowers, that served coffee, that brought butter only and bread. Specifically, that was their job. That bought other courses and entrees. That made us a water flight. A flight of water, which was fantastic. A flight of water. I happen to love sparkling water, so they made us a flight of water, of their still like house filtered water as well. Like, he was so fun. It was so fun and so whimsical, which is like my power juicy word. The reason I focus so much on whimsy, for those of you that are new here and just want to hear about the food, is because whimsy is what keeps us connected with our inner child. It's what helps us have creativity. It's what helps us heal and transmute toxic and negative energy. You have to have fun. So this was my grown-up fun, but my like inside culinary geek is like nerding out, but also feeling so loved and taken care of. The part of me that simmers in Venusian energy, that's Taurus energy for my moon sign, loved being treated well, with the luxury of the moment, and also the fact that this was executed brilliantly. Like, I wanted to call up my favorite professor, be like, Chef Deb, like, meet me here. Meet me here. But she actually worked at the Grand Floridian for many years, so she was just chef de cuisine over there. In any case, let us carry on here. So you come in, and it's all of this pomp and circumstance. Before there's ever food that hits your table, there's an offering of 3 amuse-bouches, which means a small bite or a kiss, essentially, that are given to you. And so it just starts off beautifully, and that's what else can I say? And then the food starts to arrive. Dry fruit spritzer, which is a pink pineapple square, Thai basil, spiced mango, langoustine tartlet, watermelon, finger limes, and it is so, and it's like, looks like a little eclair. This is the menu. You see this gloriousness? Victoria and Albert's. I mean, my gosh, guys, get a freaking load. Like, that was the whole menu. Like, everything you saw here is not a menu of like, we chose this prefix, you guys, you know, like, it was, everything is included that I'm about to tell you. This was what we ate that night. Then next came a Royal Belgian caviar and cauliflower panna cotta, and they paired this one, let's see here, with a Brut Rosé and a Yuzu Seltzer. The Yuzu Seltzer was my favorite thing. It was so good. My drink is gin and seltzer of some kind, or some kind of sour, and so or a Gibson. I do love a good dirty Gibson. However, I had them make me a yuzu and gin, which was brilliant. Even the angels agreed. It was delicious. Like, the cocktail guy, because there was just a cocktail guy who did the beverages, and he was like, that is so good. Like that's got to be a thing. And I'm like, it's got to be a thing. It was pretty delicious. Okay, so the Royal Belgian caviar cauliflower panna cotta was brilliant. It was a vision. It was luxurious and silky. The mouthfeel was ridiculous, and it had this beautifully delicate crisp that somehow mine was gluten-free, and it looked like a piece of underwater filigree. It looked like sea fans. I grew up in the Keys, so it looked like sea fans and like coral reefs, and it was just brilliant. Absolutely stark, breathtaking, luxurious and silky. They served it with a pearl spoon, and the caviar. Well, if you guys like sushi and you like a little bit of masago, then you'll enjoy that. But it was much better than masago, to say the least. Then we had a Danish hermosa carrot with an Okinawan potato, and this was really delicious as well. That was one little bite. They next served wild turbo, fennel, and baby leeks. These are small bites and small plates, very classical French style. So of course, I was very like happy and comfortable with that. And you're thinking like, oh, at first you may think, if you've not had the experience, like, that's really, like, this is, what are we paying for? You understand by the time you're done, and by the time you're done your stuff, you're doing a Super Bowl of food. It's like a marathon of eating. Okay, 4 hours we were sat for. Okay, we got there at 5:30. We didn't leave till 11 something. It was like crazy. All right, so then we had a glacier 51 toothfish, charred mushroom, and bambooed rice. What he told us about this, I do believe, is that this comes from like some eighth wonder of the world in Antarctica to some degree, and it's like insane. The story, the guy that tells the stories, and he tells a story for every single meal. He is so spectacular, y'all. I don't even know. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, that was amazing. Now, I will say this. They had then Rohan duck, winter pear, and balsamico. This Rohan duck was my favorite bite of the night. I'm going to definitely put a picture up, and I'm going to put duck and put an arrow so you can be like, this one. They like crisp the duck. I love duck anyway, but they crisp the duck fat, and then it was this unctuous bite of all of these things all paired together that were just so incredible, and it was my favorite bite. I could have just had that. It was amazing. Then there was Colorado venison with a maple glazed turnip. And then they did a Miyazaki fried potato Rossetti Romesco, which was amazing. And then there was a break-in service. And then we also had the add-on. So we did the upgrade. So we had Wagyu and then another fish service, which was, the Wagyu was really fantastic. Then they did us with like a palate cleanser. So I believe there's a bit of sorbet and then cheese. And it was a preparation of cheese. So they did this really beautiful, clean line of a bit of honeycomb and this and that and the third, all from the chef's island. The chef, I believe, oh gosh, I want to say it's Sweden, but I think I may have it wrong, but I think she's from Sweden. Then we had then after the cheese, we had the grapefruit grenadette. So that was the palate cleanser, which was served with a fig orange cookie. Then they did a spectrum of chocolate, which you'll see my picture of, and then a banana gâteau, then a pecan truffle, then a pavlova, then a pomegranate caramel, and then Indonesian fair trade coffee, which the coffee, listen, I'm a coffee person. The coffee was literally brewed at the table and so insanely incredible. Like, so good, so good. And it's just the aesthetic of it as well. The whole experience was divine. Now let me tell you what's happening as dinner service is happening. They are moving like a symphony, a well-oiled machine. They sat us, we were treated like princesses. We happened to wear our crowns. If you guys saw my video, I had the video about the crowns, right? So we happened to wear our crowns as well. And because I was super chatty with the wait staff, because like this is like the Super Bowl for me, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm a chef, and my companion as well is a chef too, and a caterer. So I was like, we were just talking. And so midway through the meal, before the cheese course came, they came to us and they said, would you ladies like to meet the chef? And we're like, what? So it was so incredible. And that's the part for if you came for a food review of Victoria & Albert's, yes, go. But also, here's a little bit of life enhancement for you. When you're operating in a high vibration, it's amazing the things that happen. I did not solicit that. I did not request it while I had made the reservations, while I had fought in the Hunger Games and stood in line, while I had put down my deposit, while I had waited and baited my time. I did not request that. The universe gave that, and it was divine. In fact, my guest said to me, she was like, did you ask for, like, is this like a thing that you asked for, maybe even paid for? Like, you can sometimes add on that experience. And I was like, no, that was synchronicity and a little bit of angelic magic pixie dust for us fairies and queens. It was very lovely. You know, I always set an intention for an experience like that, especially if it's going to be something that's going to be maybe once in a lifetime, that I will extract the most and that I expect the most, because you can do that, and we got the most. So we got to go back and take pictures with the chef. In fact, the thumbnail that I think I'll post for this video will be the picture of the three of us there in the kitchen taking a picture with the chef, who was just so stinking adorable and was so gracious and took time and chatted with us for a bit and all the rest of it. And we were the only, and I'm not kidding. So that's the magic. If you're on this channel, yes, it's a food review right now, but for my metaphysical folks here and my folks that are living in all of the realms, my earth angels, my empaths, my light workers, guys, whimsy and magic just kind of gets gifted to us. That was such a beautiful experience, and again, not one that was solicited, it was one that was gifted. And it was such a delight to get to go back and have that experience. And that happened because we were chatty for sure, but and I made it known that I'm a super foodie for sure, and we were talking a lot. You know, I was like nerding out with the guys. I'm sure they were like, oh my gosh, this girl, will she shut up? But it was because it was meant to happen, and it was a special moment. And you can create that in your life. You can welcome in what you deserve, and you can be treated in all of the best ways. We also had another incredible thing happen. So there was a harpist there, which just calmed my nerves. I love music, and when I do my readings, I channel with music as well. Music is a huge part of my life. Well, there was a harpist there who was playing the most amazing music, and it was all contemporary, so it's like really a lovely juxtaposition for your brain. I'm a former band nerd as well, and so I love music, read music, played music myself for many years, and so I was delighted, and it's almost like a pacifier for me. I love that kind of energy. It reminds me of being in orchestra and marching band and jazz band and all the things. So I was delighted. And every time she would take a break, like I literally could feel my anxiety ramping up, because her energy and the way that she transmuted that room's energy was so divine. In any case, she's playing the music and we're catching the tunes, me and my friend, and it's really enjoyable. And then the maitre d' comes up to us, actually, as he's walking us back from the kitchen from meeting the chef. He says to us, he was like, do you know, he leans in, we're like halfway across this beautiful intimate dining room, and he leans in and he says, do you notice anything different about the music? And I'm like, well, it's contemporary, we both recognize all of the music all night, we've been kind of like joking about it. And he said, yes, well, it's Black History Month, so the harpist is playing all like top 40 or like top chart topping, you know, like R&B, you know, rap, everybody. She was playing everything. It was really funny. She was playing a little bit of everything, and a little Disney thrown in there too, like whimsically. But yeah, so he was like, yeah, so a great deal of her repertoire is, or everybody that she's playing, essentially, it was either written by, penned by, or a chart topping artist. So somehow someone Black was involved, or some person of color was involved. And I was just like taken aback by that. It was just such a lovely thing that he didn't need to do. He didn't know what political leanings we were. He didn't do any. It was just like this moment. Now, we were radiating in good energy. That's one thing about being with people that are of your tribe. We had a vibe. We were a vibe. We were a vibe. And I think that he felt safe. And by the end of the night, he said as much. And I'll get to that part. So he was chatting with us, and it was so sweet. So then we paid attention, and we could actually tell, and it just delighted me. And I was like, we got to get her over here. So my friend flags were down before she's off to take her final break, and we got to thank her, because I was saying to my friend, I said, I know as a former band person that she called up her compadres and all of her peeps that are in the music industry, and she was like, how do I do this justice? Because she is a Caucasian woman who looked like she was Pentecostal. And that was exactly what I was saying to my friend. Like she is like the church lady, and it's so adorable that she's playing like Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys and Mariah Carey and Beyonce and everything. And so it was really an interesting juxtaposition, and I love that. And so when she came over, she was like, oh my gosh, she confirmed what I said, which I loved. She was just like, I called up my friends, and I was like, I've got to do that. I've got this gig. I was saying it to my friend. Like, she called people. She was like, I have this gig at Victoria and Albert's. They want me to play all Black history. What do I need to do? And at one point, she played Lift Every Voice and Sing. And me and my friend, we were the only Black people in the restaurant. But we were both like, is she playing Lift Every Voice and Sing? Like, immediately, it's the Black national anthem. And she was, in fact, playing Lift Every Voice and Sing. So when she came and chatted with us, she was so sweet, and she had put so much reverence, and it just touched my heart, man. It's the kind of moment you live for. You know, in the world, we're always talking about how things go left and wrong, and everybody's this and that, and you know, someone's prejudiced and this one's racist. It was just so nice to have a moment where I felt seen in the most beautiful way, and it wasn't drama, it wasn't anything, and we were, you know, treated lovely. But that was a nice moment to connect with her, actually, and to hear her thought process, and to hear how beautifully she was respecting her job. And she was like, in my church we play lift in every voice and sing all the time. She was just so stinking adorable, and she did her job anyway with aplomb. I adored. In any case, I'm gonna see if I can find her name and connect it to the video if you're interested in like just hearing her work. So it's just beautiful. So that happened, and then we went on with our evening. We got to connect with some of the wait staff there. I highly suggest that you take time to connect. The companion that I was with has a brilliant way of doing that, because she has world traveled as well and worked as a chef all over on yachts in Croatia and all kinds of interesting things, and Turks and Caicos. So she has a depth of knowledge for everybody that is outside of our United States. And I'm not saying that, you know, she's the expert on it, but it is to say that she's comfortable in her skin. And she was making a connection that I thought was really beautiful. So here's where it's going to deviate from how Victoria and Albert is wonderful into how we as humans are energetic vibrations and connections for people, and that we have assignments. So never underestimate that intuitive nudge to communicate with someone and say hello, or say I like this or I like that. If you feel guided to, you never know how that will affect them or how it might bless you. So my friend was talking about she noticed the person's name, and because of her time there or her experience, I don't know why, but she asked his name, and she said, oh, I know, and on his name tag as well, too, underneath everybody's name tag, it does say where they're from, right? Which country they may be from, because it's a very international crew in there. And so it's a Croatia, and she was like, oh, she mentioned that she had been to Croatia, and they kind of struck up a conversation. And the conversation was the beauty and the highlight of the night for me as an observer. For any of you guys studying human design, I'm a projector, so observation is my superpower. So I got to just watch this person's soul light up. And as a reader as well, I got to watch the work that was happening between the two of them, and I thought that was really neat. And I wanted to share this because each one of us has the capacity to do it. But in their exchange, it wove through the night. It was like a tapestry of communication and all these synapses that were firing and lighting up, and inner child memories and evocations of loved, crossed over loved ones. And you're like, all that from a dinner conversation with one of your waiters? Yes, all of that happened. And it started with a simple thing about her mentioning I think the country is one of the country's main dishes, or maybe a main rustic dish or something. And he was like, oh, my mother used to make that. And his eyes lit up. And he started talking about what was in it and how it's delicious and how this version is better than that version. And as the night went on, he found a way to connect with her and to connect with me. The way I asked for my coffee reminded him of his wife. The way that she held his gaze and his attention reminded him of his life. You get it? Sometimes you have a divine appointment. So I wanted to go to Victoria and Albert's. It was great, yes. It was incredible. It was unforgettable. I manifested a very specific experience, even with a specific person. I didn't want to go with my husband. I didn't want to go with just random people that wouldn't appreciate it. I wanted to go with a foodie. I went with a foodie. I wanted to go with someone who would be whimsical and throw on a crown just for funsies. I went with someone who did that, but I wanted to go with someone who could get humanity. That's a message about your tribe. Pay attention to those people that come in actually that match your vibe. That dinner, I've been wanting it for years. Could I have paid for it for years? Yes. But could I have had it be exactly the most supreme experience emotionally, culinarily, drink-wise, energetically? No. That took alignment. Sometimes it's not time for something. That's another message for somebody here. Everything in perfect timing. It couldn't have happened with just anyone. It couldn't have happened just anywhere. It couldn't have happened in just any year. I needed to have lived the life I've lived to appreciate it exactly in the way that I did. And also when I was there, I thought, let's do a little work, kid. And it was so great to see how, I think his name was Rado, was lit up with what my companion did know about his country and his home. He was I watched him go back in time. he was a child. He started talking about things and throwing balls. He showed us pictures of his son, who's a brilliant artist and really well known in New York to some degree, I believe. He shared his family. He treated us like we were his daughters by the end of it. And he was enraptured with my companion, and I felt so honored to get to see life unfold like that. We all have the opportunity to connect with someone that way. And I connected with other waiters too. She connected with other waiters, but there was something about him. And I felt like that's the work we had to do that night. Yes, we both wanted to have dinner, sure. But that was the moment for me. And it didn't even involve me. That's the magic of being around your tribe. That beautiful energy spreads around. I mean, it involved me. Clearly, I was there, all the things. But she's the one who sparked that connection and knew about his home food and all of that stuff. And that was so powerful for him. And I got to watch how it healed something in him. And I knew that he would go home. I'm a reader, guys, for those of you that are just here for the food review. So I do psychic and intuitive readings. And so I knew that he was going to go home. I heard the conversation he was going to have with his wife about it. And I met this girl, and she was talking about the food, and he's talking about his mom. And the other lady got coffee, and she asked for the Splenda Legume and whatever, right? I knew that we had created a memory, and we also had a divine appointment and destiny that night. Yep, that's a lot. Just a waiter, not just a waiter. A whole Rado with a lifetime and stories that would probably blow us away. But we got to exchange energy that day, which is what we do on this channel, but it's what we're doing every time we step out. So know that. Look about. Raise your head up, right? For always there will be greater or lesser persons than yourself. So be kind to everyone around you. They have a story to tell. All right. So the night ends with the coffee service that was absolutely brilliant, with more treats that they're stuffing into our life, like take, eat, and take whatever, with all of the staff coming over to greet us, with them being rather off the cuff with us, because by the end of the night, I'm not going to say it too lightly, we were their faves, I'm not going to lie. We were their faves, and they said it. The maitre d' literally came over, and that was where I was leading to earlier. And he said, I don't know why you guys think you're leaving. Something to that effect. He was like, clearly you have to stay. All my staff is in love with you. That's what happens in past when we go out and we are high vibing together. That's what happens. It was just all this magical synchronicity and connections. We were chopping it up and laughing. We felt like we know them forever. I think too, to be very honest, for people that are just coming in for a food review and you're like, I just want to see, is this a place I want to go to? Yes, it is. But because we both have culinary histories, I think we have a reverence and a respect for the front and the back of the house. If you've ever been in the back and dealing with a dishwasher, breaking down a grill, a big old stove, burning your knuckles, all of that stuff, screaming, yelling, slipping and sliding on the floors, you know that you better be respectful. And what they're running is a pristine operation. Now, let me tell you, that kitchen, you could eat off the floor. So you will see that in the pictures. We also got photobombed by one of the chefs in the back, one of the sous chefs, who's looking up like, here we go again with the pictures. So it was so funny. Like, I see you guys. You'll see him. Maybe I'll point an arrow to him too. But I think that we were treated well because we are us. I'm just gonna say it. Empath, own that you are you. Own that you are interesting and kind and aware and connected. Like I watched that person be with that waiter. Like, be who you know you are and sit in that. But expect a little whimsy and magic too. But then also, if you are well-mannered, the world comes to you. We were just interested in what they do. And that's why we got that really cool invite while no one else did. And we were waiting for it. We're like, is this like, do they take everybody? Is this part of the gig? No. So when the maitre d' was like, you're our favorite, we don't know where you're going, why are you leaving? Get back any night, birthday, your bat mitzvah, whatever. Like, it was really adorable. And they pretty much almost wanted to carry us to our car. They were so incredibly sweet. So yes, we went in there, and of course you pay, you get what you pay for. And yes, you're paying to eat, but you're paying to have that treat of this level of service that if you've never had it, then it will make you stand on your feet. The whole night from beginning to end was insane. I will end with this, though, which blew my mind in the best way. A little song that did play from the beautiful harpist that night, that evening, that day was Pure Imagination My favorite song from Willy Wonka. Now here's the magic for people that know this channel. You know there was going to be some whimsy. Just a few days before, or the day before, maybe the day before, we had a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory picnic. I have pictures. I will show that to you. And it was divine and spectacular and whimsical and all the things that I do. Guys, for, again, those of you that are new here, I'm a former preschool teacher as well. So all of the bright colors, all of the things, all of the whimsy. But I learned about manifestation from Willy Wonka. That's my origin story. That's my, there's like a villain origin story, a villain origin story. That was my empath practitioner, shamanistic high priestess origin story. Was watching Willy Wonka in like 3rd grade and being like, you can like get yourself out of bad circumstances just by what you wish. It was me having a memory of a past life and other things that I may have done or may have completed or thought about, and I thought, this is the way out, is through your imagination, pure imagination. The whole movie lit me up from knowing whether you should go the right or wrong way. Were you going to be a Gupta's Gloop or Farouk or Salt or Mike TV, or were you going to stay and be Charlie? Like, that movie taught me so much about morality, about duplicity, about test in front of you, because wasn't the competitor actually an inside spy for Mr. Wonka, actually? You never know. And so it taught me so much about using your senses. It's like, I wish I could show you the inside of my brain. My brain lit up when I watched that movie, because I realized that everything I needed to know about manifestation and spiritual warfare was contained within Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So I have recreated that moment as many times as I could in my life and received golden tickets when the universe saw fit to bring them by in the most incredible ways. Even in culinary school, making a gingerbread house that was shaped like a Willy Wonka hat. It was a bisection, and you could see the different levels of the factory, and I made the Oompa Loompas and the chocolate river. Like, dedication. That was not a great year for that competition for me, but I put my heart and soul into it, and I celebrated Willy. But in any case, what I will tell you is I'm so dedicated. So that picnic happened the day before. Everyone had a great time. It was beautiful. So many magical, whimsical things about that as well. But what I will tell you is the harpist, even in the midst of her playing all of this beautiful music, starts playing pure imagination. And that I did capture. I have a small video of that. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. What we think, we bring to us. What we believe, we manifest. Anything you want to do it, action behind your manifestation. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. Come with me and we'll be in a world of pure imagination. That magical moment for me, because the imagination was that I could sit at a restaurant someday and not want to die when it was time to pay, and that I could even make that be a thing in my life, that I could do just me, that I could do it, and that I could like be the self-sufficient person actually. And anybody that's here for a food review, you have to understand that what metaphysical practitioners do, and there's always this struggle about who are you versus your worth, and there are issues about all of that stuff. So that was a real coalesced moment of me saying, I deserve this moment. And I manifested this moment. I'm drawn to this. This is what it felt like to me. Perfect. Magic hour, time for infinity. This is from a beautiful tea that was gifted for me. I have an unboxing of it here if you're interested. But that's what Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory playing on that harp represented to me. A magic hour where I was being showered by the universe, by my angels, by my ancestors, to be able to sit there, and to have that experience, and to have it in the most ideal fashion, complete with crowns and tiaras, complete with great communication regarding the fact that we were both on the same page of like what we wanted with the food, and the wait staff with us with fantastic communication, and someone who would appreciate it as much as me. An incredible, indelible, unforgettable memory. And it was filled with pure imagination and that harpist that floored me. I couldn't even believe that happened. It was so funny. I told one of our other favorite waiters that we just had done this picnic the day before and and been celebrating and using all these, like there was a lot of candy and all the stuff. And he was like, I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs. And he saw the pictures and his eyes lit up. That little inner child came out. Don't forget to play, I guess is what I'm supposed to say. And if you're here looking around, this is play. That's why I live this way, because it's the way you stay connected to your soul. Yes, Victoria & Albert's takes the gold. I mean, platinum, platinum diamond encrusted. It's brilliant. If you can get there, do it. And if you can watch a video about someone else who records the whole thing, again, go check out that video of hers where she's just going through essentially the food, if you want to see that, how that plays out, and get a look at the food up close and in action, and try to guess and see if you can match it up to what I said. But this dinner will live rent-free in my head. It was one of my favorite experiences. Even walking into it felt very much like The Great Gatsby. I love that movie, that moment when Leo's finally arrived and all the heads like turned to look. We had that moment walking up this place that felt like we were in 1940s or 1950s, old Florida, but safer for us, especially that month. And we were treated like royalty. And it was amazing. I will never forget it. So anyway, that is my review of Victoria & Albert's. I didn't think I was going to talk that long about things that look like canapes, but my God, the flavor and the punch that they packed and the way that they lived in my soul for days and days. If you want to see me talking about it pretty quickly, I'm doing a video where I'm talking about a crown and about some lessons I learned just going on my way there. But I'm essentially giddy and high in that video. I'm not high, I'm sober, but I'm 100% lit up with the energy that that experience provided. So highly recommend. 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 would do it again and again, but maybe not that much, because once you do it once, maybe in another few years I'll head back there and manifest new incredible energies, connections, and it'll be another dinner of the year. It's amazing. Life keeps rolling, guys. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. You want to go to Victoria & Albert's, make a reservation. There's nothing to it. Come back and join me next time, guys, and we'll continue to evolve together.